afternoon, good evening. My name is Nicole and welcome back, or welcome if it's the first time, to an episode of Sol y Punto. This is a knitting podcast where we talk about natural dyes, different projects. At the end I always like to talk about something related to herbalism, so I always choose a plant and highlight that plant and talk a little bit about it. Today we are using a Vitex Agnus Castus bush as a tripod, which is something that I often do. I come out to nature with my dog Oso, who's nice and chill in the breezy shade. And yeah, so thank you for being here, and get something to work on if you want to knit, if you want to paint, if you want to wash the dishes. You are very welcome here, as my dear Susan says. And Susan from Wild Cottage Knitting, Ireland. If you don't know her podcast, it's very beautiful. So today we will be talking about finished objects, some natural dye experiments with Hypericum perforatum. We will be talking about different knitting events and different things that are going on. And the herb of the day, or the herb of the episode, is chamomile. No, chamomile. Have you seen that meme, that video where the herbalist said, "Oh, do you have that herb chamomile?" And the other one's like, "Chamomile? Chamomile?" And turns out they were talking about chamomile. So we're going to be talking about chamomile at the end of the episode, so stick around for that if you're interested in planty stuff, and enjoy. All right, let's start. Oh yeah, in these episodes we tend to go a bit to the future, to the past, so we're going to jump back to the past now, and I'm going to show you some works in progress, and then I'm going to show you them as finished objects, so that's cool. And yeah, all right, so let's get to it. See you soon. Hi friends, here we are, different day, different tree tripod. Yeah, I am here today to talk about a few things that I'm working on, that I'm knitting, a few projects that I wanted to share. And the first one is living in this beautiful project bag by Soñara Bags. And I am working with a yarn that I have had since spring 2021. So it's kind of full of plant matter and things, because I have lots of stuff in my bag, always collecting leaves and flowers and stuff. So this is a yarn that came actually in this little project bag, Heather and Hops, Knit with Intention, Treasure Your Creation. And this is from, I even have the original sticker and everything. This is from Whistle Bear, and this is a 100% lamb's wool blend of Romney Marsh and Romney Cheviot breed, bred and reared in the Cheviot Hills. And it is 350 meters, about 100 grams, so a little bit between sport and fingering. And it is a British yarn. And the bright orange color, which is my favorite, this color is called Fire Festival, which makes me think of the summer solstice. You'll have to excuse us because I don't know what's going on. Oh, and there are some gardeners. We'll see how long this lasts. I can't actually see today because my eyes have been very, very itchy. And so these are prescription sunglasses, which I used when I came up here to be out and about, because I'm trying not to use my contacts for some time. And I have been allying with chamomile. Oh my god, it is so nice to put some chamomile on your, you make the infusion and then dip some cotton or something clean in the chamomile and just keep it on your eyes, and it is so nice. That and cold cucumbers. Oh, amazing. Wow, my background is like really blown out. Oh look, now you can see the background. So this is where I am. But I was apologizing for the sound of the helicopters. I don't know if it's very obvious for you here on the camera, but it is pretty loud. So let me take off my glasses because I think it's rude to talk to people with glasses on. Anyway, so Fire Festival. Fire Festival makes me think of San Juan, the Day of St. James, the summer solstice, and we have just passed Beltane. Actually, we are like probably right between Beltane and summer solstice right now, exactly in the middle. Summer solstice, I believe, is like, I don't think it's actually at one specific moment. I think it's a time frame where the days and the nights are exactly the same amount of time. No, that's the equinox. Where it is the longest day of the year. And the longest day of the year, or the long kind of stretches, I would say maybe like 24, 48 hours. I'm not sure. I'm not a scientist. Just a knitter. Okay, so Fire Festival. And I don't even know if I ever showed this on the podcast. This was a project I was working on, but I ripped it out. So originally this yarn, I bought it to participate in a knit along by Heather and Hops back in spring 2021, and it was a spring intentions knit along, and it was really beautiful because it was a mystery knit along, and every week there was like a new thing to knit that also had to do with like spring intentions. There was like a yoga session, there was like journaling prompts, there were so many. It was really nice. But the actual pattern was like knits and pearls, and I don't know why my knits and pearls don't look nice together. I just felt like it was really not beautiful, and so I ripped it out. And then I didn't know what to do with this beautiful yarn, and I have a lot of it, and I like lots of colors. Look at these greens. I don't know if you can see well. And so I didn't know what to do with it, so it sat in its little project bag. And then December rolled around, and our dear Marianela Gallo created a pattern for our Advent calendar, our TTT Advent. And it was a long like scarf that has this beautiful lace pattern in the middle, but it's followed by a bunch of garter stitch, and my garter stitch is just really ugly. And it's funny because I was like joining people at a knitting retreat here in Granada, and I was sitting next to this really funny lady, and she was like, oh, garter stitch is such an ugly stitch, or like, that's such an ugly stitch, like that's so ugly. Like, I know, isn't it ugly? And I was like, I can't finish this, it's so ugly. I don't know why. I think that, I don't know, it just doesn't look very like uniform. Wasn't happy with it, it wasn't working. So the yarn sat again for a long time. This pattern is called Bufanda Vida, and it's available on YouTube in video format. So if you want to follow and learn like the stitch pattern, it's really beautiful, and I love like the idea behind it of like the different steps in life, and you have to keep going, and I don't know, it was really beautiful. But just with this yarn, no, I think it would look nice in like a merino superwash type yarn or something. So I decided now I'm going to make like a big oversized floopy sweater with this. So here I put it on. It's hard to, well, I guess I only started. I decided bottom up because I wanted it to be really easy to just like start knitting immediately. I didn't want to have to worry about the yoke. So this is what I'm doing. It's gonna be big. I don't know if I went overboard with the size. And it's brioche because brioche is the only thing I like to knit, apparently. So I started with a I-cord. I didn't do an I-cord cast on because I was watching a lot of videos about how to do an I-cord, and they were saying that it's best to do an I-cord and then like pick up stitches, because you can pick up like every two stitches and skip one, 2 stitches and skip one, or 3 stitches and skip one. So what I did was every 3 stitches and then I skipped one, and then 3 stitches and skipped one. I probably should have done more because look, like it still bubbles out, you know, like this is a lot smaller than this, but I think it's cool. This is the bottom of the sweater, and my idea is to just knit a square and then make armholes. But because like just a boxy sweater, and this I'm calling my Santiago sweater because I would like to finish it before I go to the Camino de Santiago in August. Will I be able to finish it before August? Also, by the way, this is awesome. Do you know what this is? I have a bunch of it. If anybody would like some, I call it fide wow. You like stick the needle on here and you can just pull it out. I don't think I'm making much sense, but it's like a spaghetti. And you put the needle point in here, and then you can like put the stitches on hold or put them back on the needle. Super easy because you just put the needle on there. It like sticks really well in there because this is rubbery, and then you pull and then the needle just goes through the stitches. Fide wow, because fide wa in Spanish is like a little macaroni noodle, and I was like fide wow, so fide wow. So if anybody wants some, any stitch markers that you buy from me, I'll put some in the package. Just let me know and I'll give you some. I have a thinner one. This is like a thicker one for thicker yarns, and then I have a thinner one for thinner yarns, and I have a bunch of meters. So and I have my little rabbit stitch marker here. Anyway, so my idea is just to start at the bottom and knit straight up and then make armholes, but I'm thinking I might have to steek the armholes, because if not, I would have to stop under the arm and then knit back and forth in the flat, and I don't even know what stitch I'm doing because I'm doing this and it's very loose, but it's gonna be fun. And on the back it looks like this. I was even saying to Ida that like the back looks cooler than the front, but yeah, that's so I think I might have to steek it, because I think it'll be easier to just like cut the armholes and then pick up from there. I don't know. We will see what happens with the Santiago sweater, but I want it to be like a big oversized floopy sweater. It's bigger than I thought, but that's okay. Super oversized. I probably could have gotten rid of a lot of this because it's probably going to grow in the blocking anyway. That probably would have been sufficient, but we shall see. We shall see. And it's super easy to knit. Oh, and it's really fun. As you will notice, there are no ends to weave in because I'm spit splicing. How easy it is to spit splice. So like here is one of the colors. I also have white. I didn't bring a lot of them. I also have this yarn, which I naturally dyed. Also, something I'd like to mention is that when you naturally dye things or make like herbal remedies or something, label them, because you think you'll remember, but you won't. I can go back and watch my podcast and find out, but like, I don't know how I made this color. Probably with logwood and something yellow. I don't know. Does anyone remember? I also have one other one that I have not in here. Anyway, but spit splicing. Spit splicing is super easy. You just like, especially because this, I love this color. Isn't this color fun? It's just 2 strands. So I just open it up into like a Y. I guess this is not that easy. You just like open up the end like that, and then put the 2 together like this, and then you like wet it somehow and then rub it for friction, and it stays. It's brilliant. I don't think I could even find you where I have joined the colors, because I'm just joining whenever I feel like it. And that's what I'm doing. So it's gonna be a striped, oversized, fun sweater, and that is my Santiago sweater. So we will see how that goes. Again, I have this yarn, which is different, but it's very similar. Like, I think the weight of the yarn is really similar. So I may or may not include some of these naturally dyed colored yarns. I don't know, because I don't know if I'll have enough yarn. I don't know. Maybe I should make this narrower. And I have like a whole skein of this and then a bunch of minis. So we will see. Knit with intention. Treasure your creation. Thanks, Kat. Isn't that a pretty color? It's like a sky blue. All right, more things. Hello. Okay, so I want to show you what is living in this adorable little project bag that I got from my Advent exchange of La Nuja in December, and I love it. It's so pretty, and it goes perfectly with what I am knitting. So I'm using this beautiful blue yarn, which is from my dear Vivian. Thank you, Vivian. But this is from a British dyer as well, and the name of the dyer is Under the Olive Tree, and that's where we are today, under the olive tree. Hi. Oh, you can't really see, but trust me, it's an olive tree. So I am knitting the Shawl Rio de la Plata de Marianela Gallo, and it's full of sticks and leaves and branches, but I have this also on a fide wow. I took it out off the needles so that I could block it and see how much the merino silk grew. Because my idea now in the pattern, this is a 1 skein fingering weight pattern. 1 skein fingering weight, but Marianela told me that a lot of people didn't have enough with 1 skein to make the tassels, and I thought I really wanted the tassels. Like, I think I need the tassels. So I thought, well, I could put another yarn mixed in the part, like now we're going to change the lace pattern, and instead of doing this beautiful lace pattern, which goes all down the middle, now we are going to do similar to my Sol and Yodo top. It is like a feather and fan at the bottom. So I thought some of the rows of feather and fan I could put with a different yarn. And look at how perfectly these go together. This is fingering weight. This is merino lace, and this is fingering weight. But I thought that it would be really cool to have like a merino, a mohair, like a thinner, airier band of the waves in mohair, and then switch back and switch and just keep going. Even though the pattern, I think you're only supposed to do like 2 repetitions of it, but I like big shawls. I like big shawls. So I thought I could keep going and use both of these. But when I started working with the mohair, I realized that mohair does not stretch and does not give in a blocking like silk and merino do, and these grow so much and the mohair is not going to grow. So I think what I need to do is use a bigger needle size when I'm working with the mohair, even though this is so thin, but because it doesn't stretch like this will, and it definitely like grows. What I should do is do a swatch and compare and everything. Or actually, looking at this ball of yarn, I think I would have enough to finish the shawl and to do the tassels. But I like the idea, and I love how perfectly these go together. And they're both by British dyers. This is from my beautiful Heather and Hobbs. She dyed this, and it's called Into the Summer, and we are going into the summer, so I just felt like it was really perfect to use those two. So I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it work. But yeah, I learned that mohair doesn't stretch in my Shawl Suka. Have you seen my Shawl Suka video where I explain the brioche pattern that I am working on and that I gifted to my Beltane swap buddy? Well, that pattern, I hope to release it to you all probably, I'm thinking, on or around the summer solstice. So if you want to knit a really fun, relaxing, beautiful, Sukalicious brioche shawl, then get your yarn ready. You just need at least 400 meters of one weight and 400 meters of a thinner weight of yarn. So, for example, you could do a fingering weight with mohair, so 400 meters and 400 meters minimum. You could keep going if you have 800 meters and 800 meters. That's fantastic. I think mine is about 800 meters of both of the fingering weight and the mohair lace. So 800 meters and 800 meters, but the shawl is massive. But because it's so feathery and light and beautiful, it doesn't matter that it's so big. It's amazing. So if you want to join the Suka fun, get your yarn ready, and hopefully soon that pattern will be in the world to share with all of you. And go check out the video if you haven't seen it. But this is my Rio de la Plata by Marianela Gallo. This also was a I don't know what's wrong with me today. I was just thinking, I was like, am I talking in this video in Spanish or in English? Yeah, no, this is the English one. Anyway, this shawl by Marianela Gallo was part of a knit-along, which she is doing with Justina of Felici Punto, and Aitana de Aitana Villa. They are doing a year-long knit-along called Navigando entre agujas. Sailing through the needles, or sailing with needles, I don't know. But they're doing patterns every month, and knit-alongs every month, based on different destinations around the world, as if you were to take a boat around the world and sail and go to all these places. So this one is Rio de la Plata, which is the entrance into South America if you were to travel there by boat from Europe and arrive there in Argentina. So I love this pattern. I signed up for the knit-along because I wanted to be part of the Telegram group and be in it with everyone. Although this was the April knit-along, and I started, I think, to knit on April 31st. And that's okay, because you can sign up for knit-alongs and not actually follow through, and no one cares. It's fine, and you can knit with intention and treasure your creation. You can knit what you want, when you want, whenever. So, but knit-alongs are fun because you get to see other people, and their problems. You can ask questions. If you're like, hey, how many is the repeat of this lace chart, and blah, blah, blah. All right, more things. Did I say that this is on the Fide Wow? Super Fide Wow? I think I did. If I didn't, well, this is the thinner one. Thinner Fide Wow. And if you want some Fide Wow, let me know. Okay, more things. Hi friends. So I'm out here. I came to collect some Hypericum perforatum, and I just collect the little flower heads that are in bloom. I mean, I definitely get a few that are not in bloom or that are past bloom, and I fill up this jar. Today I've collected one jar. There's a whole field of Hypericum now in bloom, and it's always so special because it's something that really only happens for about 2 weeks every year. So when it's in bloom, it's really exciting to come and collect, and I am going to fill this jar up with olive oil. You don't need to have extra virgin, and actually the lighter color olive oil, the cheaper one, is even better because you don't want it to be the delicious spicy olive oil. You just want a regular olive oil, and this is going to create the most amazing body oil, which not only has some solar protection, which is really cool, but it's super nice for aches and pains. If you have any muscle issues or nerve pain, it's amazing for massaging into that. And actually now I'm preparing to make a whole bunch of Hypericum oil to bring with me on the Camino of Santiago and share with everyone, because I think that in the afternoons after walking a lot, it's going to be really lovely to rub all over our legs and whatever else is aching and paining. like our backs and necks and everything. So I'm going to make a bunch of hypericum oil. I even collected, there's a whole field of it, and there were some that were like bent over, so I filled up this project bag with some of the stalks that were like kind of bent over and were like, take me home with you, and I'm going to try dyeing a mini skein. You know that I don't like to use something that's so medicinal and so special for dyeing, but I really want to see if I can get a beautiful color, because when you make a tincture of this, also the tincture is amazing for like muscle pains, viruses, so many things. But when you make a tincture with like a vodka maceration or oil, it turns bright red. And that is the hypericin, which is like the active ingredient. And so, but you have to do it fresh. You have to make, like, you can't use dried hypericum. So if you're seeing this now, go out and try and get yourself some hypericum fresh this year. But yeah, so I'm going to try to dye with it. But I wanted to show you before I send these out, 3 little squares, which were so difficult to make, which sounds insane, but I had to make, I didn't have to, but I volunteered to make 3 squares for a baby blanket for someone who definitely doesn't watch this in English, but I don't even know if she watches my podcast. We had to make them 20 centimeters by 20 centimeters, and so I was like, I'm gonna make one out of brioche. I made one, and it was like 18 by 17, and I was like, oh no. And I hate swatching, so I thought, why don't I start from the middle and work out? And I was like, that's brilliant, because if you like cast on, you never know if you're gonna cast on the right amount. Obviously I could have swatched like my brioche, but I didn't like how the brioche, I can show you that one, I have that one at home. But these are the good ones, but even these, I had to this first one turned out too small after blocking it. I thought blocking it would stretch the extra centimeter, but it didn't, so I had to undo the edge. But I didn't do an Icelandic cast off, which is horrible to undo. If you think you might have to undo something, don't do Icelandic, because you have to unpick each one. And this I just did a regular bind off where you slip it over. And yeah, so it was brilliant. I mean, I had to add an extra centimeter after I blocked it, but this one was good. Then I did this one because I was like, well, I want to do something different now. So I did a little lace pattern, which I guess I subconsciously learned from the shawl that I'm knitting by Marianela. It has this, you can see my fingers from collecting the hypericum because it dyes your fingers purpley red. Look at that. This is hypericum yellow, isn't it? So I did that. I just did the pinhole cast on, which I learned from Very Pink Knits. And then this last one, I had never done baubles before. I wasn't gonna do a whole bunch of baubles, but I was like, I'll do a few. I don't really like them very much. I don't know, they're kind of weird. But a little bit of baubles. And so I'm very proud of myself. This one was too big. This one was too small. I felt like Goldilocks. And the 3 bears, a little bit too hot, a little bit too cold. It was very difficult. My friend was like, Nicole, you can write a brioche pattern and knit these amazing things, and you're gonna let 3 squares be the bane of your existence? Okay, I'm using a very precarious, I'll show you my tripod, but the battery's gonna die. So that's all I wanted to show you. Talk to you soon. This is the tripod I'm using, and my phone is bouncing here, and it could easily fall into this big hole. This is where we are right now. Hi friends. Okay, so I wanted to show you the results of natural dyeing with hypericum. Why, where's my mind today? Where is my mind? Am I gonna sing the Pixies? Am I? No. Okay, so as it is hypericum season and they are just blossoming and just so beautiful, I decided to harvest some from this big field that I found and see what I could do with the natural dye of the hypericum. I think I talked about it in a previous video when I showed you my harvest. And I just wanted to show you in comparison to some other greens. I don't know if you'll be able to see, it's very blown out, but this is something I wanted to mention. If you are going to naturally dye and play around with different plants and colors, or if you're going to harvest some herbs, or you are going to make some herbal oils by infusing your plant material into an olive oil, which I highly recommend trying. And if you have any questions about that, please reach out to me, because I love making olive oil infused with herbs for like body oiling and stuff. Anyway, if you're going to do that, label your stuff, because you think you'll remember, but you won't. You think you have a good memory, but you don't. Like when people put their information, like what needle they're using on Ravelry, because you think you're going to remember, but you probably won't. Maybe you will. Anyway, so this dark one is Consuela con Hierro, which is comfrey with iron. And this is comfrey just by itself. So I think we looked at these last episode, and you have a darker green and this like light olive. Beautiful. In person, these colors are even more charming. But this is this golden, oh man, you really can't appreciate the difference on the camera. But this is like a golden Hypericum gorgeousness. Wow, like even just looking at the changes in the color in the strands, it is so beautiful. I absolutely love the color. It's like a lime green, olive oil green. I don't know, how can I show it to you? Oh, it's so beautiful. It really is. I know you're like, it's green, Nicole, but it really, in person, it is spectacular. It glows. It glows with the joy of Hypericum perforatum, which is probably my favorite plant. I think it might have been, no, nettles was the first plant that I ever talked about on these shows. I think probably it was like the second or third, because I love Hypericum. And yeah, it's gorgeous. Now I want to try with some more. I'm making lots of herbal oils, but if there's some like stalks that are bent over or just are asking to be used as natural dye, I will make another batch and see if I can get some other color with it. But I love it. I'm so excited. I'm trying to think what I'm going to do with all these minis, these beautiful naturally dyed minis. In the previous episode, I showed you all of the colors that I have been making. I don't know how many I have so far, like 20 different natural colors, and in my opinion, natural colors always look really beautiful together. So I'm thinking I might make like lots of squares. This is my idea right now, to make a bunch of those squares that I showed you that start in the center and go outwards, and then like each square is a color that has something representative of that plant or inspired by that plant, so that I can remember in the future, because I won't remember. I'll be like, oh, what was that? Yellow. Oh, that's birch, and like somehow represent birch. Even just putting a letter B on there, or like a birch leaf, or some way for me in my mind to remember that this is like the yellow from birch. I think that would be cool. And then make a blanket out of it. Wouldn't that be awesome? Ideas. That's like a long-term project that I could just be like working on. Anyone else want to join me? I was thinking that if anyone is interested in mini skeins of 20 grams of superwash merino, like really nice merino, it's like 19 microns, I'm not sure, whatever the nice one is. It's very soft, it's superwash, so it takes the colors a lot stronger, and they're already in mini skeins, so it's super easy. My dear friend Aida has mini skeins in white that she can make you up a pack of them, however many you want, and you can use them to experiment with natural dyes with me, and we can share our experience. So let me know, or let her know. Send her a message. Uy, un perro. Well, at least it was a female dog, and also got to play a little bit with her, so that was nice. She was a puppy, but like a puppy German Shepherd mix. type dog, and also enjoyed her very much. But yeah, so I was just talking, I think, about the minis and how if anyone is interested, you can reach out to Aida and she can prepare you a pack of minis of however many you want, and you can play and experiment like me, and we can share our natural dyeing experience. All right, more things. Hi, now we are back to the future, or to the past, who knows. Time is a strange soup, says Cat of Heather and Hops, I believe, something like that. So, I finished my shawl, and wait, there is no mohair, because it was like a serious heat wave, and I was like, why am I even gonna bother with this mohair? Because what happened? Oh, wait, can't use I stepped on a spiky thing. Nature recording. So I was knitting this, and as you will remember, I wanted to put the mohair because it was like so perfect. Crunchy things. But no. First, the mohair with the same needle size was too small. Like this part was coming out like too tight. Then I put a much bigger needle size, and the lace was coming out way too big. And obviously, probably if I had gone to the middle number, so I think I jumped from a 3.25 here, and then I put a 4.5 here. So I think if I had gone simply to a 4.0 millimeters, we're talking about millimeters, then probably it would have been okay, but those needles were busy. And I just didn't want to take my chances because I was like, maybe it's just not gonna look good. And I thought, you know what? I think having just a shawl like this, also I really wanted to wear it for the International Knit in Public Day at night, because I went to go see the designer to have some sushi, and I wanted to show her the shawl finish. So here we are, we're done. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, in the last segment I talked about the wool. Sorry, we are kind of near road because Oso's like, I don't want to walk any further up. But let me just show you. It's only 10 a.m., but it is hot. Oh dear. Oh dear. I can show you a little bit what it looks like. Oh, isn't it gorgeous? So I think it's nice for like summer nights, and I'm really happy that I did not put the mohair. Although it would have made it bigger, but it would have made it more of like a winter shawl. But this color is just so summer. Love it. Okay, I also wanted to mention these gorgeous earrings that I'm wearing. These were made by Lucia of Be Happy, which is a knitting shop here in Granada. And she makes really cool earrings of this style. And she organized a knitting event for the International Knit in Public Day, and obviously I went. So much fun. I brought a bingo game to play, and I put like 1 to 100, and I put different things that probably you have done in knitting, like I don't know, I've knit a pair of socks, I have had to unfrog an entire project, I have fallen asleep knitting, which someone told me they have done that. I really want a sheep. I can spin, I can crochet, just like a bunch of things that have to do with knitting. And then you chose the numbers, you chose 24 of those possible things that you have done and put them on the bingo card, and then I pulled them out, and it was really fun. And we had stitch markers that I gave away, and we had a pattern by Antonio, And we had some of the earrings that Lucia makes, but I saw these when we were finished. I was like, Lucia, I need some of those earrings. So I bought these and I love them, and I just thought it was perfect with the shawl. So that was really fun, the International Knit in Public Day. I also wanted to talk about the Beltane swap. So the Beltane swap, I actually won the yarn because there was a giveaway at the end of that exchange. So you remember the shawl that I received, which was absolutely beautiful. And then they do like a giveaway because they charge €5 to sign up, just in case something happens and someone doesn't like receive their shawl or something weird happens, so that they have some money to deal with any problems that might come up. And then, oh, a huge hare, a rabbit just ran by. Good thing I didn't see him. And yeah, and so they did a giveaway because they didn't have to like deal with any problems really, so they had the extra money and then they give away yarn. And I won 3 skeins of yarn from Koloska Wool, which is when I went to the Sevilla Yarn Festival, at that booth is where I bought my beautiful bag. So I'm so excited about the yarn. I haven't received it yet. When I get it, I will show you all. And I already know that I'm going to knit a Suka shawl with 2 of the skeins and 1 skein of mohair, which I just picked out from Mrs. Aida, although it's a very, very light color, and I'm going to dip it in a bath of Hypericum to make it Hypericum greeny, yellowy awesomeness and mix it with the other colors. It's gonna be a great Suka shawl. Who else is gonna be knitting a Suka shawl? Let's do it, Brioche, come on, it's gonna be so much fun. Yeah, more things. Okay, now I want to recommend to you the Framework bralette. Okay, but I did not really do a swatch. I used cotton. It definitely like stretched a lot. I'm not gonna try it on, but you get the idea. It is too big, too wide, and GK cotton. As you can see, it's getting hot. The sun is out and about. But I love the pattern. Very size inclusive. I don't know if you can see with the shade here. Framework bralette by Jessie May. Super interesting about how to measure yourself and everything. It really is a very complete pattern. Although I didn't really do a swatch or measure myself very well. So here we are. But I plan to make another one with like a thinner cotton yarn and see what happens. It's super easy. Super easy and like really neat, you know, like the edges are really pretty, like the way that you do this, and then this is like double knitting I-cord. Loved it. She offers you to do Kitchener stitch or 3 needle bind off to connect these. I just did 3 needle bind off because I didn't want to remember how to do Kitchener, although once you remembered, it's so good. I just didn't want to remember. So it's not as pretty as Kitchener is, but it's fine. I like it. I was thinking that because it's like so floppy and baggy, like I could just like pick up stitches and make it like a summer top, because it's not really a bra. It doesn't really like, it's too loose. But anyway, all right, woo, this sun. We are gonna go, let me show you, let me just show you the Hypericum yarn. I can show you now. So, speaking of sun and summer, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to show these here very well. And I have my little tags, and this one's coming undone. Who is this? Hypericum. So, here we have Hypericum with iron. Here we have Consuela. This is comfrey with iron, so you can see that comfrey has a lot more tannins. It's a lot darker. This is comfrey by itself. So these are comfrey. These are what I did with comfrey, which are like really herbal, medicinal, wonderful herbs. And then this is Hypericum. I think I showed you in the other, but look at the iron version. I think it's really pretty. It's just a little bit darker. Can you see those? So just hypericum and then hypericum with iron. Love it. And I am going to knit my Suka shawl. I think I'm just gonna do hypericum. Hypericum, like yellowy golden summer awesome in the mohair, and then the blue. So it's gonna be like that combination. It's gonna be amazing, my Suka shawl. So, natural dyes, awesome. Okay, more things. I think I'm gonna show you, shameless self-promotion. Can I show you my stitch markers? Okay, I'm gonna show you my stitch markers, the ones that I have in the shop now. Okay, before we head down, let me just show you a little bit my stitch markers that I've been making. So, I've been making a few with the rings a little bit bigger, so they fit a needle up to, I believe, 9 millimeters. And here is a pack with Soysite Ruby. Soysite, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it is like green and purples, and then Moonstone, which is so pretty. So these rings are a little bit bigger. Let me show you in comparison. Oh, I love these too. I just made a bunch of them the other day, and it's so relaxing. Like, I just sit there. Sometimes I put on music, sometimes I just sit in silence and think. But these are garden quartz and jade. Oh, and it's like such a soft green color. It's like seafoam green. Oh, so pretty. So as you can see, that these marker, the rings are a little bit smaller than these. But honestly, these, I use them in everything, and I knit normally up to about like 5 millimeters. Normally I knit things a little bit smaller. So I think these would be fine up to like 6 millimeter, and these are fine up to like 9. Up to, because you can use these on smaller needles, no problem. And what else have I got here? Ooh, okay, so this is the other pack of garden quartz, but now with amethyst. And it's like a really pretty purple stone. It reminds me of like a crystal ball. I don't know. It seems really magical. And then garden quartz is really pretty. They say that you can see a garden inside, and it's got like, it really has, it's like semi-transparent, and you can see like all these things inside of it. I don't know if the camera really picks it up. And then these are so fun. These are Amazonite with lemon lime crystal. And so Amazonite is like for like flowing of creativity, and it's just like a really pretty greenish blue. And then like the lemon lime because it's summer and it's hot, and why not? We want something nice and cool and refreshing. Okay, and these are really pretty too. These also have Amazonite for flowing of our creativity. And it has lapis lazuli and jasper and agate. And then these are also lapis lazuli, which is just like such a beautiful blue color. And quartz like crystals there. And like all of these stones have really metaphysical, symbolic importance. I just think they're beautiful. I love to look at them and they make me so happy. Ah. And these, my dear Marta really likes this stone. Hi Marta, I think you probably watched it in Spanish, but these are the Soysite Ruby with the like purpley green, and then like this blue starstone, which is actually man-made, but it is made with like quartz. I don't know if you can see like quartz sand. You can't see, but they're gorgeous. They really are. And then here we have more Amazonite. I love Amazonite. It's one of my favorite stones. And you can see they're all like they all like jumble around on the thing. But here is Amazonite and garnet. That red is like really pretty. Oh my god, hi, they're upside down. So those are the stones. I will put some pictures and put them up, and you can check them out on my Ko-Fi website, or send me a message if you like specifically want something else. I'd be happy to work with you. And now it is time for Shamamale. Let's go to Shamamale. All right, talk to you soon. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about chamomile or chamomile. So chamomile is a little herb that is found in the Asteraceae family. Asteraceae, which means star, has more than like 20,000 members. It's like one of the most diverse of all the plant families. And lots of things that you might know, like echinacea, dandelion, calendula, boneset, burdock, all of these plants, yarrow, wormwood, wild lettuce, all of these are part of the Asteraceae family. And chamomile is who we want to talk about today. So this is it's like the daisy family, Asteraceae. So there are two types of chamomile that people often talk about. One of them is Matricaria chamomilla, and the other one is Chamomilium nobile. The Matricaria is like German chamomile, and the Chamomilium nobile is like the Roman or English garden chamomile, which is like frequently used. And chamomile has so many wonderful properties. I'm sure that you know of chamomile from life in general. It's a plant that is typically found in tea bags, and people use it as like a digestive herb after like a heavy meal to help upset stomachs. It's very common here in Spain. People drink chamomile quite often, and I think in the United States as well. And it's wonderful. I have used chamomile a lot for like eye issues. If you're ever having itchy or scratchy eyes, or even like pink eye conjunctivitis, putting some chamomile on like a nice clean rag and then putting that on your eyes is so soothing and really wonderful. I guess that's because of its like anti-inflammatory and antibacterial constituents. And yeah, what else can I say about chamomile? I think traditionally, because of its like anti-inflammatory, it's wonderful for like colds and flus, or some kind of also stomach problems, cardiovascular problems, diarrhea, things like that. Topically, it can be really helpful for like skin irritation, eczema, and it's just such a soothing plant, and it is something that you can drink at the end of a long day, and it's definitely going to help you relax and have a nice sleep. Or even imagine like taking a bath with chamomile. That sounds so lovely and smells so good. Or even just a foot bath. Sometimes you don't want to do the whole bath, but you can make just a little tub of hot water and put your feet in it while you sit and knit. Isn't that such a lovely idea? I love chamomile. And dyeing with chamomile, you can make a beautiful buttery yellow using chamomile to dye with. So if you have some chamomile, have a nice cup of it and enjoy. I actually am going to infuse some chamomile into coconut oil and see if I can make a nice skin oil, which I think will be really soothing for any itchy things or anything like that. And I think it'll be really nice for the skin. So get yourself some chamomile and enjoy.